Hello, everyone, and welcome to this week's episode of Organic Matters, the podcast brought to you by the Irish Organic Association. This week, I'm joined by Noel Barcoe. He is the General Manager of the Village Dairy. Noel, you're very welcome. Thank you for coming on.
Anna, thanks very much for inviting us. It's great to be here.
I guess people, shoppers out there and farmers out there might be familiar with some of your milk. They might have seen it in stores, particularly maybe Dunnes stores, the Jersey milk. But just for anyone out there, give a bit of background. When did the Village Dairy come about, and what does it do?
The Village Dairy. Well, I've always been in the milk business myself, and it was always on the selling end of things, and from that end of it, and people were starting to look for different alternatives, and we had a building here. There was loads of farmers all around us, and we had a depot here, and we went up then to just meet some of the farmers and ask them would they be interested in doing it. There was one organic farmer in particular, Jimmy Mulhall from Coolanowl, and Jimmy stopped me one day and he said, "Do you sell organic milk?" And I said, "No, but sure, look, if I ever do," I said, "I'll give you a shout." So that was kind of half got us into the organics, because then we started looking at the organic and to see where there was a niche in the market. And then when we built the dairy and we had a few farmers lined up, I went back to Jimmy and they said, "Look, we'd be interested in doing the organics. You were only down the road," and we applied for the license and everything else. And lo and behold, that was the first organic milk then that we started doing. We took in off Jimmy's, Ed Mulhall's, and Bill George is doing the farm there now. And it rolled on from there. And just by word of mouth, then it started growing and growing. And we kind of went slowly because we didn't want to be walking on too many toes or anything else. And there's enough room out there for everybody. So we kind of just took our time at it, and we built it up through word of mouth. And then from there it took off.
Yeah.
And then we started, we came across Dan Hearn then below Cork, and he was doing something different as well, and he was doing an organic Jersey. And then we started buying Dan's milk off him. And Conor Mulhall then from the Little Milk Company put us in contact with one or two farmers as well, because we'd known Conor. And it slowly but surely, it gradually built up. And then we won a few Blossom Heron Awards with the milk, because the quality of the milk coming in off the farms is what it's all about. And if you don't have the right quality coming in, we can't sell the best product out there.
That must be a great feeling. You must feel kind of very vindicated. Something that started off so slowly to get that recognition must be great.
It was, yeah, it was a great buzz. And even this year now we had 3 organic products go down to Blossom here this year, and we got silver and we got bronze for the cream and the organic milk, and we got bronze then for the Jersey milk as well. On top of that, the organic Jersey, and to get 3 Blossom Heron Awards is just absolutely fantastic.
Yeah,
and this is we started back in 2015 was the first time that we produced a drop of milk, and we've won a Blossom Heron Award every year since, and every year we get the same buzz out of it.
Have there been challenges? Because I remember going to Scotland and talking to some medium scale, if you like, organic dairy farmers that were trying to process and pasteurize and sell their own milk. And it seemed like you could do it on a small scale and you could do it on a very big scale, but doing it on a small to medium scale, that's where it got hard to find the right kind of equipment, the right kind of funding. Has that been difficult?
It has. The funding is always the difficult part of it. The equipment is out there if you can get the funding for it. You will get the equipment. We're small to medium. We would be. I still class as a small, because we do 12 to 15,000 litres now between the Jersey milk and the fresh milk that we do as well, and the organic, and we're doing about 12 to 15,000 litres a week, or a day. Sorry, my apologies. And we found different markets, because we had to look at, when you're doing the organic milk, you have a load of milk in the spring, and you have to get rid of that then over the summer periods. So you had to balance the markets that you were doing, because we couldn't just go into supermarkets and just sell it, because you don't have milk then enough in the winter for them and things like that. So you had to go out and actively look for where you could sell your product for when you were going to have more. And so that's one of the bigger difficulties that we had. It was to hold the customer base once you got it, and to make sure then that you had the repeat business all year round for them. And that's where you'd be always looking to take on extra farmers and marry it up with the way that the production is going and the customer trend is going and things like that.
Do you struggle for winter milk, or would you like to get more winter milk suppliers if you could?
We'd always like to get more winter milk suppliers, because unfortunately we do have to refuse customers. We have customers coming to us looking for product, and we just don't have the milk to give it to them.
Yeah.
And that is a very hard thing to say when you have such a good product, and it is through word of mouth that they're coming looking for your product, and you just don't have it to give it to them.
Yeah. How far across the country are you spread now? Because I think I've seen your milk in my local Dunnes stores in Limerick. I think I've seen it in Avoca, so in Dublin. So I think you're quite spread out. So how far?
We're spread out. The Dunnes stores, they bring it in under the Simply Better brand, and we bring it into central distribution for them, and they then take it across the country then to the outlets themselves. And that's where the organic Simply Better comes into it. And it's the same then with the cream. They take that in through central distribution, and they bring it across the country into the outlets that they put it in. The Evoke is then, because where Carlow is situated, we're only an hour from Dublin, and we're able to service the Evoke shops ourselves then directly. And we do early morning deliveries to avoid the traffic in Dublin and everything else. And we get that into them 3 days a week as well. And then we tied up with Gino's Gelato, and they're into the organics there for making all the gelato ice cream as well. And they bring it all over the country as well, because
and that's brilliant. And does that help then with the kind of the milk flow as well? If it's frozen and if it's becoming ice cream, does that kind of help?
It absolutely does, and that's where we had to find the balance with the winter milk and the summer milk to make sure that the excess that you had in the summer, you were able to use it up. And then, because the ice cream now this time of the year would go quieter, and you wouldn't be using as much. So with the farmers going not backwards, but do you know what I mean, drying off a bit on that, and the volumes going back, it gives you that bit of leeway then to work with it. But it's like everything. You have to go out and you have to find the markets, and you have to prove that the product is good enough for what they wanted to do, and it's able to do everything like that, and that you can do the service the customers on top of it, because you can't just take them on and just expect them to be there when you have milk, and then when you don't have milk, sorry, we don't have it, but we'll call back in 3 months' time to you.
Yeah. And I guess going forward then, how many suppliers do you have now at the minute?
We have, at the moment, we have organic suppliers, 1, 2, 3, 4. We have 4 organic suppliers at the moment. We have 1 in conversion, and we're actually collecting milk off a farmer this morning to bring it off there to get it tested. And he's actually a new entrant that's actually coming into it, and so he's just started milking there last week. So he's a couple of litres there now today, and we're taking that milk off to see what it's like and everything else, and hopefully that'll be the 5th. So we'd have 5 farmers and 1 then in conversion that should be ready to go next March.
That's brilliant. And would all of them have kind of an average herd size of around 90 cows or something, or is there kind of a mix between herd sizes?
There would, and some of them would be even smaller. Like we've 1 or 2 organic farmers there now, and they just have 30 odd cows, 30 and 40 cows, and so their average in size varies. The jerseys then, because there's Dan had have a good few jerseys. Bill over in Cool would have a good few as well, or not jerseys, but a good few cows. So it is. It's there's a nice mixture between them all.
And would you be hoping, say you have, you'll have 5 and 1 in conversion, would you be hoping to double that over the next couple of years? I'm just wondering, because there's a huge push on now to get more organic dairy farmers if possible.
Absolutely, because the more people get used to buying organic, and the more people that are presented with organic, the more chance you have to get people to convert over to organic. So it's to get the product out there, and it's the long term. Everybody knows it's the way to go with it, because I know there's like prices there at the moment with the conventional and that, but everybody knows, even the conventional farmers themselves will tell you that that's not going to last. It's not going to continue the way it is at the minute.
And I guess speaking of prices, what would have been the average price paid this year to your suppliers?
The average price paid for organic milks this year is somewhere in around it would be 50 odd cent, and then with the winter prices there now, we only have to negotiate winter prices there now with the farmers as well. So that would have went up there in the last number of months as well.
Yeah.
So it's because it's like everything, because the conventional price goes up, the organic price has to go up as well. The organic meal and everything else, the way it's gone.
I guess the difference is that historically we would have been talking about conventional prices of around 30 cent or something, but I guess your organic price must have always nearly stayed around the 50 cent per litre.
They always were, yeah. And even when we started first, and then like we have different levels of doing it with farmers, because we try to work with farmers because they are smaller. They're not big herds like you have in the conventional, and some farmers like to do winter milk. And there is some out there that like to do it, and they get a premium then for just doing the winter milk. Some are then doing it during the summer, and they like to get a year-round price. So it balances out. They wouldn't be getting as much during the summer, but they would be getting more in the winter. And so there's a couple of different ways that we do it to work with the farmer to see what way they want to do it as well. We don't just turn around and say, right, look, this is this and this is X, Y, and Z.
In terms then of the feedback that you get, I guess, from customers or even from suppliers, has that been positive?
Oh, it has, yeah. It definitely has, because people do want to buy local. They do want to buy sustainable product. They do want to know where the food miles and everything else is on their product. So from customer point of view, we've get great feedback, because like that's, as I go back to the Blossom here and again, it's to do with the winning the awards, and that's how we got into the Dunn stores with the Jersey milk and that, because the buyers in Dunn stores, they saw it in the Simply Better. They saw the product, the taste of the product, and they wanted to put it onto their shelves.
So you think that there is demand out there, if you could get the suppliers, that there is the demand out there?
Absolutely, yeah, because there's a lot of other things. There's loads of other products that can be done as well. Like,
would you? There's this kind of this great whale of an idea that's out there about organic butter. I know you're doing organic cream. Would you ever pursue the organic butter dream?
To make it viable, everybody's telling you have to have a big butter plant and butter machine. And then there's not enough organic cream then all year round to make it. So once again, yes is the answer. It could be done and can be done, but all we need is the organic milk to put into it.
Yeah.
It's unfortunately the milk is holding it all up. So if we could get a load of new farmers to come into the organic sector, there is. Because Connor will tell you there from the Little Milk Company, he's screaming out looking for cheese as well, that he needs cheese to fill orders and everything else, and he can't get. So it's all across the board.
Yeah, and I guess next steps for you as a company, are you planning on expanding operations where you are? Are you just hoping to get more suppliers? What are your next steps?
What are the next steps? I do always say to everybody, if we can get it up to 90,000 litres a week, and that's it. And that's the cutoff. When's a micro dairy, not a micro dairy? You know what I mean? Like there has to be a point where you turn around and you say, no, there's enough volume, and going through the dairy, and that's somewhere that we kind of we look at and say, well, if we can get to that number, happy days. Everybody, farmers getting a good price, the customers getting a good product, and everybody's getting a margin out of it. The people that are working here in the dairy as well. Like we have 25 staff here between part-time staff and full-time staff and everything else. And it's to get a nice balance for everybody. And if we get it up to about that end of it, I think that's a cut-off point without going and having to start putting on extensions and putting on what's called new machines and everything else. But then that's always to say that if people wanted to look at doing it another way, and because we have looked at in the past that maybe we open another dairy somewhere else. So it doesn't have to be just in the dairy that we have here at present, that we could always open another smaller dairy and build it up to what or the dairy here in Carlow is at the minute.
But overall, are you positive about the future of organic?
Absolutely, yeah. Without a shadow of a doubt, it's the way forward. And we're only starting to hit the top of the iceberg on it, really, because there's so many different great products that can be done and that should be done. And all we need is the milk to get it, because the quality of the milk out there on the organic end of it is fantastic. It's great. And,
a technical question before you go: do you have an SCC count or a TBC count that the milk has to kind of fulfill?
The SCC, and we do, because the department set all that type of stuff, and we like to try and keep them as low as possible as well. We'd like to try and keep them TBCs and SCCs. SCCs, I think, is 300 at the moment. I know the department is 400, and the TBCs then is the what's called. And we work with the farmer as well to try and keep the TBCs and SCCs down as low as possible.
And do you have fat and protein levels that you'd like them to reach?
We do, yeah, but we do, but most of the organic milk coming in will hit them targets anyway.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Because the product, as I said, is good, and they're not just most of the organic farmers. They're interested in what to do. It's not just money at the end of the day. I know everybody has to make a living, but they're not doing it just to have 500-600 cows on the farm, and they're more interested in the cows and what they can do for them, as well as everything else, you know.
Yeah. Okay.
Sort of question properly, I'd say.
Noel, thank you very much for that. For everyone who's listening, you've been listening to Organic Matters, brought to you by the Irish Organic Association. And for any more information on the Village Dairy, they have a website that you can search for online. It's villagedairy.ie. And for any more information on organics, visit www.irishorganicassociation.ie. But I'm Hannah Quinn Mulligan, and until next week, thank you very much for tuning in.